Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today, as promised, we're going to continue with part 2 of our underground subway station. Now it's very difficult with a project like this knowing where to start because it's so big. Do we start at the top and work down, or the bottom and work up? Well, I think in this case it's the bottom and to work up, because without knowing how long or what height our platform is on this lower level, we have no idea what we're trying to link to. And getting the platform right is going to be very important for integrating with the train, obviously. And both ends of it, the left end has to integrate with the river, which I've just taken out temporarily, because it's going to be part of what's holding up the river. And it needs to integrate on the right hand side with this level. So I've measured the distance between where I need the supporting wall to be on this end all the way to where I think the stairs will need supporting at this end, and that's 57 studs. So that's the length we need for our platform. As for the depth, that's less of an issue because quite frankly it could hang off the end of this table, or we could even squeeze it in a bit further, but generally speaking about 12 studs seems to be about right, and that's going to fit well with a lot of 6 wide plates. Obviously they're a lot easier to come by, so we don't want something like 13 because that'd be really hard to manufacture. So I think we're going to stick with a width of 12 as well. So our brief is a platform, dimensions 12 studs by 57 studs. Let's go down to the building desk. Okay. So we're down on the building desk. We know what the length of the platform has to be. 57 studs long. We know how deep it's got to be. 12 studs deep. But then we just need the third dimension, which is the height. So obviously I want the platform to be roughly level with the bottom of the carriage. And I want it to be a whole number of bricks, plus a plate, plus a tile. Because basically that's going to be easy to build. I need a row of plates to support everything, and I'm going to have a tile on top to give it a nice finish at the end. So I think 3 bricks, a plate, and a tile is absolutely ideal. And from a steeper angle, you can just see down in between the platform edge and the carriage itself. So there's even a realistic gap. So you have to mind the gap, as they say on the London Tube. Good. Right, so we've got our 3 dimensions now. So I need to get lots of bricks. I'm going to do it all in dark bluish grey. I need lots of 6x8 plates, because I figure that 2 6s is 12 for the depth. And then, if you know your multiples, 7 8s are 56, and I need it 57. So I just need one 1x12 at the very end, and I can make a nice long platform. I'm going to need some supports in the middle just to hold it up, but they can use some random coloured bricks. So I've just got where you're going to see them on the outside, dark bluish grey, and in the middle where you're not, different colours. And I'm going to use different textured bricks. So I'm going to use these palisade bricks and arches. I'm also going to use these profile bricks and more arches. So let's get going with that. So this is the format I've settled on. It's quite straightforward at the moment. I think these arches are very sort of subterranean in their look, so they'll just be resting directly on the table, which is black, so it won't show up particularly much. And I'm not building it on a base plate because I want all the track just to be on the bare table as well, because most of that's going to be buried deep underneath my tables as well. So it can all just sit on the surface of the table without looking too bad. So I've got the arches, then I've got the layer of textured bricks, and I'm alternating between the profile bricks and the palisade bricks. But I haven't got many of these in the right colour. So on the side that we're not going to see, I've only got the profile bricks. And then I've got lots of supports underneath on the inside, so it's nice and firm. And it'll be held down even more when we've got tiles on top of all this. But we're going to need some seats for people waiting and stuff like that as well. Now it occurs to me that I also need to support the level above. Now if you recall from the Lego room, there is much higher than I'm currently demonstrating, a base plate from the ground level above, and it sort of overhangs this area. Now I want that to be fully used. I want it to have shops on and just be the same as the rest of the city above ground. So it's definitely going to need some support from underneath. Otherwise, as soon as you push any pressure on it, even putting a minifigure on it or something, it's all going to come tumbling down into our subway. And we don't want that. So I'm going to need some pillars as part of this platform to support the layer above. And if you think about any subway system that you've ever been on, there probably are quite a few pillars on the platform, so it actually adds to the look as well, I think. But in order for those to be sturdy, because if you just do a very long column with round bricks, or even square bricks for that matter, then not much force horizontally will just knock the whole thing over like a sort of delicate tree, bit of a timber type scenario. So to avoid that, I'm going to use some Technic pieces to sort of really connect it firmly to this base. So with that in mind, I think every other one of these, I'm not going to use these 6x8 plates. So I'll put those to one side, but I'm going to use, first of all, an 8x8 plate. A 2x8 plate on the other side. And then underneath where I think my layer of pillars is going to be, a Technic plate. Just so I won't need all these holes, I'll only need one. I don't know exactly where my pillar's going to go yet, but by doing this, I pretty much can allow a Technic axle to go through any of these positions. Now, the fact that it's yellow may not be ideal at this stage, but the fact is this is going to be covered with a layer of tiles, dark bluish grey tiles, the whole thing, so you won't be able to see it at all. And it's not even on the edge, so you'll not be able to see it from that direction either. So that's no problem at all. So the next step on that is to get the longest Technic axle that I have 3 of, which is, I don't even know how long it is, 10 long. And for now, I'm going to put it in the middle hole to represent where I'm going to put my pillar. But on the underside, I'm going to need to secure that. So what I've got is just 2 spare 2x2 bricks, which obviously won't take the axle in, but then a 2x2 round brick, which has got the axle hole. So I'm going to put that directly underneath. Ooh. So when I push down on that, now it's really firmly connected. Right, so I'm going to continue on with that theme until I reach my required length of 57 long. Right, so there's the platform, alternating between that and the palisade, profile, palisade, profile, palisade, profile. And there's just this one overhang that I need here. It doesn't fit the pattern, I'll just put the plate on that. I think that looks good enough. And you see I've got 2 places for pillars here, and I've got a place for a third one in the middle. And because this was on top of, right on top of one of these supports, I couldn't do the same method that I used here. So this won't be as held in, but nonetheless, it's got a good foundation. So when it's clamped in, it should be all right. So let's put that against the train. And I think that is a good height when we've got one more row of tiles on top. Good, good. Now these pillars, I'm going to have a dark bluish grey base. I'm just using a round 2x2 plate. On top is a modified brick with a sort of interesting cutouts that it's just a nice pleasing shape, I think. The reason why I've got the round plate in there is just so this brick gets raised up above the layer of tiles that are going to be all around it, and they're not sort of buried within it, so I get the full benefit of it. And obviously I need the axle hole, otherwise I just use a 2x2 square plate. And then I need to keep my theme running that I've got going around the entrance of my subway system in the sand green colour, and along all of my subway train carriages, which is my 3-colour stripe, red, white and blue, which some people have pointed out is the Netherlands flag, which is very true. I hadn't thought of that. Other people agree with my toothpaste analogy that it looks like the sort of Aquafresh stripe. But whichever is your favourite name for it, I think I'm going to continue calling it a toothpaste stripe. I want to continue with that toothpaste stripe on each of these columns. So I'm just going to do the bottom bit for now, but have some light grey, then the toothpaste stripe, and a bit more light grey. Now I need to get the height of these obviously completely right, so they are actually providing support to what will be in the Lego room the base plates above. But for now, I'm just going to put on these 3 matching elements. Excellent. Oh yeah, look at that. That's looking really good. Really in theme. Now the next thing, if I turn this around, that I was thinking about was what to put on the edge. And I've got 2 ideas. One is to have just a white stripe, and the other was to have sort of a dashed yellow and grey stripe, but made out of grill pieces. Bearing in mind the rest of this platform is going to be tiled in dark bluish grey. Now, I kind of like both of them. So because I like both of them, I thought, well, let's do both of them. So I thought I'd have the white on the very edge, and then kind of the dashed line as being the line that you're supposed to stand behind to be extra safe. So I will continue this along the full length of the platform. Now I'm leaving one here because we're looking at the reverse side from the train's perspective. This is going to be the 1 width wall that's going to be underneath the river, supporting the end of the river. And at this end, I'm going to stop about 8 short, so there's enough room for a big heavy duty staircase or escalator. So I'll get on with that. So far so good. I like that very much, and that shows you the height against the train. It's absolutely perfect, isn't it? So now for a bit more detail, I'm going to add some sort of subway maps, because you always see those down in the depths. So I'm going to get a 2x4 plate, just so that covers the area covered by the tiles. Brick, more of my lovely toothpaste or Dutch flag stripe. And then I'm going to use these for my map pieces for the underground. Now these are the panel pieces with sticker from the set 60050 train station from 2014. I'm going to put one of those on there, and I'm going to put another one on the other side. So whenever I see these, I've been buying them, so I've got lots of them in brick halls. I also got the one from my set, and I also got some spare sticker sheets in brick halls as well. So I'm going to put that on my platform. And another one. Looking good. Then I thought, what else do we need? We need some seating. So for that, I've got 2x6 plate. That will be level again with the plate layer, or tile layer rather. And I could use a 2x6 in tan, but I haven't got any 2x6. I'm using 2 1x6, which I'll put a couple of jumpers on, 3, 4 jumper plates on, and a tile in the middle. Then I can use some of these pieces in brown, which are the sort of half tile, half plate, 2x2 with 2 studs. And I can put them slightly offset, So you've got a nice little bench, because I don't want something with too high a back because it will just sort of get in the way. And I thought I could put that up against, so it doesn't take up too much room, each side of each of the maps. Looking like a good tube station to me. Right, so I think the next thing is I've got to tile this, or shall I do the wall? I think I'll do the wall next. So I'm going to do a 1 thick wall here, and I want it to be in decorative tiles, much like the real London Underground, and quite a few undergrounds actually have tiles. And I'm going to have some adverts in it as well. Okay, here's my end wall. I've used lots of modified bricks with studs on the side, which have enabled me to use lots of 1x1 tiles, both in dark and medium azure, which are very bright and bold colours. I think they look really smashing. I've used some arch pieces, which are the sort of half arch, and I've measured those, so it's not the most snug fit, but it's about the right height, I think, for that to comfortably go through. I've just started with a bit of decor here. I don't know if that's going to be able to survive because I need to be able to support the river, and that's why on this side I've added a lot of inverted slopes. So there's loads of those on the top level, so it's actually supporting the river on this wall. So it's kind of a load-bearing wall. And you see I've got a brick profile 1x2 there as well, just to give it that sort of slightly run down look as well. And then these are two advert boards. One already comes with the City News sticker, new truck in town. That's a sticker from the train station set 7937 from 2010. And the other one, I haven't decided what to put on it yet. I mean, I could leave it blank, but I was also thinking there's loads of little wanted posters and news posters and all sorts of things I can make a little collage out of. I also thought I could put one of those fairground stickers that I got in that hall the other day from the Downtown Fire Brigade set 60216. But I'm not sure. I've only got 2 of those, so I don't want to waste them unnecessarily. So I'm going to see how this subway station looks and whether that's going to be a very visible area before I commit myself to that, because it might be I want to use those actually at the fairground, kind of maybe on the gateposts of my fairground. So we'll see on that one. But yeah, it's a good start. I've also raised this one plate above the ground level. You guessed it, because we're going to have tiles on the rest of this, so it all needs to be raised up one. But I think you can start to see this platform really come to life. Right, now I definitely need to tile it, and then I probably need to extend these up, and then we can put it in the Lego room. And there we are with the tiles in place. I've done my usual pattern of doing a 2x2, then a 2x4, then a 2x2, and so on, because I think it looks more like paving slabs. And I've taken care to put in 2x2 jumper plates, so I can stand people in here when I get it fully finished. Now there's a couple of things that I want to add. First of all, I thought I'd put in a busker. The Series 11 saxophone player. He arguably needs a second hat for the money, doesn't he, really? But nonetheless, maybe he's just playing along. And then I thought I'll put in a rat. And this is one of the new rats from the Harry Potter line. I got mine in the Hogwarts Great Hall set, 75954. I just thought, I don't know, put him in the foreground perhaps, sniffing about. Looks very appropriate. And then I've also been up to the Lego room and measured how tall I need to make these. And fortunately, I've just got enough round bricks in grey. And I thought I'd put a second stripe on them as well. So I can do that. and that. And for the third one, I thought I'd do something a bit different in that I'd add a clock on each side on a bracket piece. So for the spacing, I've had to use two 2x2 round plates instead of another brick. Keep the height the same. And I think you'll agree that looks rather good. Now I've moved the outer columns just out to studs because I felt that it was getting a bit congested with the edge of these seats. So they're still equidistant, but a bit further apart. And the final part on this, to provide the support for the layer above, which will be base plates, is a 50x2 brown plate, or combination of plates really, with another 50x2 combination of light bluish grey plates to make a nice strong sandwich. And then it's got some of those 2x3 inverted slopes as well. So there's a greater level of support to prevent some sort of bowing in the base plates in the level above. So the base plate will kind of come to the edge of this and maybe just slightly over it, so it'll kind of look more like that, I think. But generally speaking, there is our platform. I'm pretty happy with that. I do think this build's getting better and better, actually. This colour that I just thought about putting in the train, now on the maps and the columns, is just really making the whole thing come alive. And I hadn't realised until now, but this yellow sort of accent colour on the grille pieces is actually picked up in the number on the side of the carriages as well. So we're really sort of, and even the map to a degree, so we're really sort of bringing that theme across the whole build. And I think with these arches, it looks very much an underground sort of subterranean theme. The rat helps in that regard. Also the colour, this very dark grey, really adds to the fact that it's sort of a bit dingy. And then you've got a bit of a shady character playing a saxophone. What could be more moody? Well, I knew this subway system was a good idea, but I'm liking the idea more and more now that it's turning into reality and looking this good. But we're going to have to draw a line under it for today at least, because I've run out of time, unfortunately. So thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, well, we just have to continue with this subway station, don't we? So we'll either be doing the back wall over here, which will probably have more adverts and more tiles on it, or we'll be getting on with linking this level to the mezzanine level with all the ticket machines and so on. See you then!